It's my pleasure now to introduce our final award recipient of the evening. There's been, and he's from Algeria, Soufiane Djilali from Algeria. And Algeria, there has been a sort of narrative, very widespread kind of conventional wisdom about Algeria that was in place. If you asked a year ago any sort of analyst or scholar or expert, that the kind of almost universal perception of Algeria was that the kind of overwhelming popular movements that swept the region in 2011 were not possible in Algeria. That for various reasons, including the memory of the violence of the civil conflict in Algeria in the 1990s, that Algeria's citizens, despite many of the same factors of corruption, and a government that failed to meet the needs of its citizens and a declining economy, that Algerians would never demonstrate the way that their fellow citizens had across North Africa and elsewhere in the Arab world. However, if you had asked some of Algeria's citizens, including Soufiane Djilali, a year ago, he would have said something quite different. He would have said that Algeria's citizens were already working to bring about positive political change in their country this year. Soufiane, in May of last year, May of 2018, took a sort of unprecedented and brave and courageous step in Algeria. He organized, coordinated, and published an open letter calling to oppose a fifth term for President Bouteflika, who'd been in power since 1999. He called for the state to recognize the rights of Algeria's citizens, and he managed to convince many important figures, personalities in Algeria to sign on to this letter, and this letter became the beginning of what became known as the Mouwatana movement, of which Soufiane is the founder. This movement, over the course of last year, began last August and September to organize protests against the Bouteflika regime and against the extension of his term as president. Those protests were crushed violently, but Soufiane, like many others that we've honored this evening, did not quit or give up, was undeterred. They shifted their organization, made it quieter and online, continued to organize, and when President Bouteflika announced in February that he formally announced that he would, in fact, seek a fifth term in a sort of sham election scheduled for April, the Algerian people took to the streets in the millions all over the country in really remarkable and inspiring peaceful protests that Soufiane's movement, the Mouwatana movement, had really laid the groundwork for months ahead. Of course, as in other cases, when Bouteflika finally did resign from office on the 2nd of April, the fight was not over. Protests continue, struggle continues. Soufiane has been very much engaged in negotiations and national dialogue since that time to help sort out Algeria's future and the next steps in what we hope will be a democratic transition in Algeria. As some of you may know, that there's also been a bit of a crackdown in the last few weeks in Algeria, and there have been numerous key figures, opposition figures and figures in the protest movement who've been arrested. We were uncertain, and Soufiane was uncertain himself that he would be allowed to board the plane and fly here on Monday, but we're very happy and grateful that he's able to be here with us. And we couldn't be more honored to have him and to recognize him with our Leaders for Democracy Award. Thank you, Soufiane. And Soufiane will give remarks in Arabic with interpretation.
Thank you very much. Good evening. سألقي كلمة بالعربية إذا سمحتوا. نعم، عموما خطير أن نعطي الميكروفون لسياسي لأن ليست له رغبة في السكوت. شكرا جزيلا على هذا التكريم. شكرا لكل طاقم بوماد، رئيس وكل مسيرين. هذه فرصة. Okay.
Good evening. It's usually it's risky to give a microphone to a politician usually, but anyway, I would like to express my thanks for being here.
فأشكر طاقم بوماد ورئيس بوماد لهذه الجائزة. في الجزائر منذ 22 فبراير هنالك ملايين من الجزائريين يمشون كل أسبوع كل جمعة في شوارع كل مدن وبطريقة سلمية تماما في جو أخوي.
Since last February, millions of Algerians walk the streets every Friday in peaceful movement.
هذه نتيجة عظيمة للجزائر، لأن كنا كلنا نتخوف من انحرافات انزلاقات في عملية كهذه، ولكن في نهاية الأمر ظهر الجزائريون بوعي كبير جدا.
We're very thankful that all Algerians acted in a civilized way. There was no issue, no problems, no violent movement. It was all peaceful all along.
فبطبيعة الحال هذه الجائزة أنا بدوري أهديها لهذا الحراك، لأن في نهاية المطاف الحراك هو الذي الآن يقود التغيير في الجزائر، لأن الجزائر تريد أن تصبح دولة قانون وديمقراطية.
I will take this award and I will actually give it to all the Algerian people who are moving toward democracy and in order to get a state of rule of law and a democratic transition in the country.
فشكرا لكم وشكرا مرة أخرى لأعضاء بوميد. شكرا.